What's up, guys? And welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode 62. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason, and I am sadly not joined today by Travis, my typical other co-host. He is MIA on a bachelor party in the wilderness, and he wanted me to make sure to tell you guys just how not fun he was going to have, how much unfun he was going to have in the wilderness. But I'm joined by a very special guest host today. I'm joined by Mr. Ryan Betson from the For the Players podcast via the PopCulturists in Australia. Got a little down under flavor on the show this week for you guys. And Ryan, I really appreciate you doing this. Thanks for being on the show and filling in for Travis. But how are you? How goes things?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for inviting me to be on here, dude. I really appreciate it. So I've been listening to the show for a little while now. I was, as you do, you kind of scout the competition. I see what else is out there, and I came across the show, and I was like, "Hey, what's this? What's this one?" And I checked it out. I'm like, "Nah, this shit rocks." And then, eventually I reached out to you on Twitter, and we were just chatting, and and we kind of went from there. But no, yeah, thank you for having me on. This is good fun. Look, I will admit I am like a little worse for wear today.
Oh,
because I only because I did. Because here in Australia, here in Victoria, in Australia specifically, we are on our 7th lockdown.
Oh shit!
So we're not going anywhere or doing anything. So I had a friend of mine was their birthday last night, so we did classy Zoom trivia. So we had to dress up, do trivia, and then Anyway, that's pretty much as simple as it could be. We got dressed up, we all sat and drank in our own houses, did trivia, and had a ton of fun.
That's awesome. You gotta make the best of it.
That's it.
Yeah, and so we're in a totally different situation. Not totally different, but we're in a different situation here in the States. I mean, I don't know if you keep up with American news at all, but we're just full steam ahead, right? Like nobody's stopping us, especially where the part of the country that we live, we're just kind of full blown, like whatever. I mean, some people are worried about it. Some people really aren't, rightly or wrongly. As a vaccinated person myself, it still makes me nervous. Like my wife and I, we still don't really eat out at restaurants very much. We do to go and carry out and that sort of thing. So I can't imagine being locked down, 6 or 7 times. So I'm sure that's tough altogether. But so you're about 14 hours ahead, correct? From me?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, on the button. Yeah.
Yeah, because I sent you a message on Twitter earlier and just saying, hey, here's the show notes, that I normally do. If, whatever, if you want to look at them, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. And I didn't expect to get a response from you. I expected you to be asleep, and you wrote back, you're like, hey man, yeah, it's about 3:45 here, doing a little drinking. And I was like, oh boy, this is going to be awesome. So I didn't know if I was going to get hungover, Ryan, or what, but either way, it was going to be gold.
No, like like a bit of a fun fact that I discovered actually. So anyone that has checked out my social medias or whatever, like I've been on this big weight loss journey. Over the last couple of years, like year and a bit. So part of that is there are certain things that I don't drink anymore.
Okay.
So for context, I've lost just under 80 pounds for you guys. So like I don't drink beer or any of that sort of stuff anymore. I only drink like whiskey with the Coke no sugar, the no sugar version, and I'm yet to have a gnarly hangover since I switched to the no sugar. It's the sugar, man. It's what wrecks you.
Interesting. Okay.
You can go hard and you come out clean. It's absolutely unnecessary and not PlayStation fact, but
of course. So are you a bourbon guy?
I have been. Yeah, I have been since I've made this shift away from from the beers. So
gotcha.
Because obviously beers are very Australian.
Yeah.
So it feels a little dirty, but
please say Foster's.
Foster's.
Yeah.
But see, this is one of there's a bunch of things that are very like I've got a couple of mates over in Columbus in Ohio.
Oh, nice.
And when I first met them, they asked all those questions like, this and that, and like Foster's. I'm like, no one fucking drinks Foster's.
I think I heard you guys talk about that.
It's literally just like like our export. Like no one here wants it, so we just fuck it off.
That's awesome. I love that. It's like this big thing in America is everybody's like, oh, Foster's, Australian for beer, and then you all don't even fucking like it.
No, but it's that same thing as like I remember because I used to work in a liquor chain here for a while,
Yeah.
and I remember when like Pabst Blue Ribbon was a
Oh,
thing.
it's
And
dog shit. Yeah.
when I got yeah, I know, right? I got brought over here as like this craft beer, and everyone should give it a whirl. You know, it's this new beer from America. And then I remember shortly after watching the episode of like South Park where they talk about like Kenny's parents getting hopped up on Pabst and punching each other.
Yeah, PBR. I mean, that's just horse piss, basically. So,
But even then, like Budweiser is considered like an expensive beer here.
oh, really?
And yeah, and you guys can get like a sixer for $8 or whatever. Like
Yeah.
here it's like 25, 30.
Holy shit. Okay.
It's
Interesting.
insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, anyway, that I promise that we are a PlayStation podcast, and Travis and I usually get together every week, and we discuss all of the news, rumors, new games, and a lot more in the world of PlayStation. And we post new episodes every Monday on all of the usual podcast services around the world, like the ones you're listening on right now. And we also post on YouTube as well, where we occasionally put some game streams and clips up as well. Like this week, I streamed some Riders Republic beta and shared that on there. So if that interests you, check that out. If you guys want to talk with us, you can find us on Twitter at the DualSense Pod, where Ryan and I discovered each other by the grace of the Twitter algorithm gods almost. And if you guys enjoy the show, don't forget to subscribe, review, share, and all of that good stuff. And without further ado, let's jump right into the news here, Ryan. And we've got surprisingly quite a bit this week.
Yeah, it has been a big week. So yeah, as being a pod host myself, the last couple of weeks have just been absolute ball bags.
Yeah.
But it's so good to actually have a lot to chat about.
Agreed. Here we go. Number one, Gamescom Opening Night Live took place on Wednesday, and here's a rundown of all the PlayStation relevant news from the show. First off, and this is really in just a very loose order of how I remember them being in the show, so they're not necessarily perfectly in order, but if you anything interests you, Ryan, feel free to interrupt me at any point and we'll talk. First here, King of Fighters 15 kicked off the pre-show and was announced to release on February the 17th on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge will come to consoles sometime in 2022 and feature April O'Neil as a playable character, which is awesome. A Saints Row reboot was announced by Deep Silver Volition via cinematic trailer. The game takes place in a fictional American Southwest city called Santo Ileso, I believe that's how you say that, and features an entirely new cast of characters. Through a series of post-reveal interviews, we also learned that the game features a character creator, full co-op support, the return of gang territories, and a criminal enterprise system where players buy properties to grow their empire. The open-world sandbox game will launch on PS4 and PS5 on February 25th.
Man, I'm keen as a hell.
Yes. Yeah, talk to me.
Yeah, so look, I was very lucky. I didn't actually know about this probably about 2-ish, 3-ish weeks ago.
Oh.
Yeah, so just by the nature of being in the biz here, and obviously with Australia being a lot more quieter in terms of games press, it's real it's much easier to get info when you like to speak to the right people. So
sweet.
Yeah, so I've known about this for a little while, which is great because I do think that Saints Row is certainly a series that needed a reboot. Like after that's 4 games, it kind of got a little bit silly. Like it has always been silly, but it kind of went to this untetherable weirdness, like
nonsense.
Not like when you had like the grounding of Grand Theft Auto, and then you had like what was supposed to be the grounded yet ridiculous Saints Row to kind of counteract it as GTA went down a more serious route. It was that really nice counterbalance, but then they just sort of went a little bit too much, and then it kind of went out of control. And I'm glad they're starting again, bringing it back, because if we're not going to be seeing GTA 6 for at least a handful of years, give us something within that, even if it's some sort of GTA clone to sort of tide people over in that interim.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you hit the nail on the head. It got pretty silly, pretty nonsensical, which that's always been, like you said, it's always been kind of the shtick of that series, but I definitely enjoyed 1, 2, and 3. I don't remember if I ever even actually played 4, but I know I played the hell out of the other 3. And they teased this over the weekend before Opening Night Live, and that really piqued my interest. And so, but when they showed the trailer during the show, actually, I was like, holy shit, this looks awesome. And then really what got me more excited wasn't even really the trailer, because Travis also wanted me to make sure that I said this, that cinematic trailers are worthless in his opinion. And but what really got me more excited was reading kind of the post reveal, interviews that I mentioned, like one with Washington Post, and figuring out that you can have the criminal enterprise system, and you can buy businesses and like put money into them, and you can kind of have like this Breaking Bad, like Los Pollos Hermanos thing going on and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So, dude, that sounds awesome. And the fact that they're kind of dialing it back a little bit and grounding it just a little bit more, I think, is also something that it needed. So, I'm there, man. I'm in for this for sure.
It looks fantastic. I'm very keen.
Yeah.
Very, very keen.
Also, developer Firaxis Games revealed their previously leaked new game called Marvel's Midnight Suns. Midnight Suns features a player-customized protagonist who teams up with notable Marvel characters like Wolverine, Iron Man, and Captain Marvel in what Firaxis describes as a single-player tactics RPG.
This looks dope.
Yeah, so I need to see some gameplay.
Yeah, that is a big part of it because it gives off this weird, almost Marvel's Ultimate Alliance sort of feel, with having all the characters come together, and with it being a cinematic trailer, as Travis said, that means shit. So, like, at least from that trailer, I was like, all right, I kind of like where this is going, and knowing that Marvel have gone out of their way to really seek out good people to develop their games.
Yeah.
Well, within reason, aside from like, the Avengers game, but like they have put thought into where it's gone. So part of me thinks I'm reasonably confident on this.
Yeah.
Other than I just want to be.
Sure.
I have absolutely nothing to back it up. But when you've got the likes, when you got Firaxis and their work is in like XCOM and stuff like that, I'm expecting this to be a very XCOM similar game, which does have that Ultimate Alliance feel. So my gut feeling was kind of accurate. But yeah, no, gimme. Because seeing like Wolverine and he's like brown and yellow, like Doc Strange in there as well, like it's ticking all these boxes for me, and I'm like, yeah. I'm in.
So did you see or have you read, excuse me, have you read any of the stuff that has said after the fact that like it kind of leans into the RPG systems of it in terms of like between, I guess, battles or whatever, you're talking with the characters in your party and you're getting story that way and you're making decisions and it affects your relationships with Wolverine or Iron Man or whoever, and therefore it affects how the game plays out in the battles. Have you seen that? Have you heard that?
I've skimmed over it a little bit, but I've not dived in too hard. For me personally, the way I approach sort of these game news and games reveals is probably a little bit different. Like I try not to. I gather the information that I'm given by the means that I have, and then I don't really go out searching. I kind of go, yep, cool. I will get to that information when it's announced. If that makes sense. I mean, like I'll follow the right path because. I look. I've working in the biz for about like 7 years now. Like I am pretty fucking cynical. So, I find times to get excited, or I second guess a lot of this shit as it happens. So I'm like, okay, I'll wait on that one. We'll wait and see more.
Sure,
we'll go from there.
No, that's fair. That's totally.
I love that. I love that idea though. Like that building relationships with the other Marvel characters is mint.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I'm very intrigued. What I'll say is I'm intrigued by this. I am a tactics game fan. Love tactical games, love strategy games. So this seems like this is headed up my alley, but I want to see more first. And then I'll make a decision.
Once again, more outside of a cinematic trailer.
There you go. Also, Call of Duty Vanguard debuted nearly 10 minutes of gameplay from the single-player campaign featuring actress Laura Bailey as protagonist Polina, who is apparently based on a real soldier from World War II. I don't have a whole lot to say about that, but just looks like more Call of Duty to me.
Yeah. Cult
of the Lamb, a new roguelike adventure game from Devolver Digital, was announced with a gameplay trailer, and it will come to PlayStation consoles sometime in 2022. Isometric action brawler game Midnight Fight Express shared a gameplay trailer. The game, which is being made by one person, a Polish father, will release on PS4 in the summer of 2022, and this game looks fucking dope. I don't know if you saw this one or not, but it looks like an isometric Sifu almost, that game that's coming out, and very John Wick Very, very John Wick-like vibes. Looks awesome. Splitgate Season 0 launched during the show alongside a big update featuring a 100 rank battle pass, which seems excessive, but it also comes with a new mode called Infection and a new map called Carmen Station.
I'm yet to actually check out Splitgate. It was I think very similar. I think Travis made the same point as well. It's like, everyone's excited about it. I'm out.
Yeah.
You know?
So I did get sucked into the hype. I don't I eventually caved because they announced that they had like 10 million players or whatever. So I was like, I had downloaded it and then decided that I didn't want to play. I didn't want to fool with it. I don't want to play Halo on PlayStation. That's what I told myself. So I downloaded it. I took the time to download it. I deleted it. And then a week later, re-downloaded it and actually said, you know what, I'm going to try it. So I did. And it's actually a really awesome game. I would recommend trying it. And it's obviously very Halo. But the portal mechanic that they add is it's a breath of fresh air in a way. I was a little bit hungry for a shooter, like a first person shooter. So it scratched an itch. I got Travis on it as well. And I think he actually ended up enjoying it. So he started off not wanting any part, but ended up liking it.
Well, because look, this is likely a controversial statement, but I don't really think Halo multiplayer is that good.
Okay. No, that's fair.
So, like, having not grown up with an Xbox at all or played much Halo growing up, like I said, my history is very much PlayStation. This isn't me doing the PlayStation versus Xbox bullshit, but like, it's just that when I have played the Halo multi, I'm like, I don't fucking feel it.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't land for me at the time or even now. So the idea of it, like, if the big selling point of it is it's a Halo shooter, I'm like, nah. Like, the portal part to me does sound fantastic. That is a great little switch up to standard gameplay, and I think you were discussing it in the show last week how you'll use it as a way to sort of flank people and get behind them.
Yeah,
which is really cool because that kind of adds that same level of stress that say Rainbow Six Siege would deliver. In that, you're never actually safe in a corner somewhere.
Yeah,
and I really quite like that as an idea.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point. If you are not, if you're not a fan of Halo, you meaning the royal you, anyone, if you're not a fan of Halo, then you're probably not going to find much to like about this game. Which that's not to say that I'm a Halo fan per se, but I did play it, growing up. Friends had Xbox, played it them, but more so for the co-op campaign and stuff. But the bones of the game are definitely, Halo, no doubt. But I was surprised by it. I didn't want to like it, but I ended up liking it quite a bit. So, but with that said, I don't know that I'll continue playing it like once something like Battlefield 2042 comes out. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Also, a new soccer simulation game called UFL was announced. It comes from new developer Strikers Inc., and it will allow players to create their own football clubs made up of more than 5,000 licensed players from across the world. Strikers Inc. claims the game will not include any pay-to-win elements and will instead focus on player skill. A release date is said to be announced soon, and the game will be free to play on all major gaming consoles when it launches. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I wonder, for a brand new developer making a brand new soccer game, like when they say 5,000 licensed players, are we talking the big dudes here, or have they just picked up all the minor leagues across the world? Like,
yeah,
because there's a lot of new things here, which I presume, unless they're backed by someone huge, there is no way they're gonna be able to get all the big guys.
That's a great point because it's all honestly the success of that game is going to hinge on the players that they get. And I've already seen stuff online about this game. People said, well, wow, they don't have any of the licensed team kits. Like, I don't have any interest in playing it if I can't wear, whoever's kits or whatever, and like I've seen that. And that might not be the majority of people because it is the internet. But to your point, if it's 5,000 people who nobody's ever heard of or aren't some of the, the most well-known guys, I don't know how well that goes over. Also, 5,000 sounds like a lot. But
it's kind of not.
But it's really kind of not, right, in the world of soccer because it's such a global sport. But I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But I think they're making that game on Unreal Engine 5, maybe. So
at least we'll look good.
Yeah. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga reappeared at the show as well with a new gameplay trailer. The saga will launch sometime in the spring of 2022 on PS4 and PS5. Outlast Trials was announced and will be the third entry in the first-person survival horror series from developer Red Barrels from Canada. This new entry moves into multiplayer territory and will feature co-op for up to 4 players. No shot on playing this game. None.
Yeah, like see, from the trailer itself, it did look good in the way that Outlast 1 was stuck within that asylum. It was very locked and closed, and then the second Outlast was a bit more open as you're running a lot of open space. I'm glad they're returning to that closed scenario, like a closed arena, for lack of a better of a word, because a lot of the fear did get a little bit lost when they opened it up. Only because you just found yourself running across vast distances to get away or find the nearest place you can hide. Like that game works on that immediate pressure and that immediate fear.
Right.
So you like when something happens, you like fuck, and you got to hide straight away. If you can just fang it away from everyone, it suddenly is less like foreboding. You know what I mean? Like there's always because if it's a big open space, you will see shit before it comes, presumably. When you're walking around a tight building, like every corner becomes horrifying.
I say that I'm not going to play this, not because it doesn't look good or anything like that, because I don't play horror games. I'm too much of a pansy. Like I'm out. And Travis is the same. Honest, and actually, the first Outlast, which I think was a PlayStation Plus game or something on PS4, way back when, he and I tried to pass the controller back and forth and play the first Outlast, and it just scared the shit out of both of us. So it's just not for us.
Yeah, I'm not the best when it comes to horror games either. Like I think that I'm gonna write. I'm like, yeah, no, I can do this. I really don't want to do it anymore. That happens a lot.
Yeah. Also, South Korean developer Pearl Abyss shared a new gameplay trailer for open world creature collection action adventure game Dokev. I think that's how you say that. The game was previously revealed as an MMO in 2019, but the developer shared that they have since taken the game in a different direction. And this game really caught me by surprise, man. I don't know if you've seen this one, but I don't know what it is about it, but it looks really intriguing. It looks really awesome.
What is it that tickled your fancy specifically?
Well, honestly, I think it's okay. I think it's maybe the art style. I think it's maybe the open world nature of it, and then it's just something different from what I'm used to in terms of it's I want to say it's a Pokemon game, but it's not really a Pokemon game. It's just I don't know. It's something I'm not really used to playing, and I think that just the biggest thing for me is the art style and the graphics are so striking together. And I don't know if you keep up with Pearl Abyss at all. I think this is part of it for me too, but Pearl Abyss is making 3 games that are super interesting. This one, and then also the Crimson Desert game, and there's another game that they're working on called Plan 8. And all 3 of the games that they're working on are just like really visually stunning to me. And it almost seems like they're not real, but I know that they made that Black Desert kind of MMO game, so obviously they are making real games. But yeah, I don't know. This kind of caught me by surprise. It seemed to catch a lot of people by surprise. Were you not feeling it, or have you not seen this yet?
Like the art style itself doesn't really interest me. So when I saw it, I was like, eh. But I do appreciate its vibrancy.
Yeah.
Like it is very bright. It's very colorful. It actually gives me quite a lot of Splatoon vibes without the weird tentacles.
Yeah.
Which is good. But I'd like it, yeah, like, and also like when it comes to like creature collections, you know, having played Pokemon for the better part of like 20 X amount of years now, like I have kind of soured on that that style of game.
Yeah.
It's because the Pokemon's lack to innovate and change. And with everyone being like, oh, well, that's what's successful. Like there are some that do it differently. And I'd like to think this is the art style is cool, but it might just be a little bit too Asian influence for me. Like I'm not a big fan of that art style, personally.
Yeah.
That does kind of detract me.
Yeah. It definitely has that look to it, that influence, as you say, as you know, if you want to say that. So I get that too, but I'm interested. But it's also one of those games that I want to see more of, to be sure. So Jurassic World Evolution 2 will launch on PS4 and PS5. They announced at the show. It'll come on November the 9th, and it is available now for pre-order. The game will add marine and flying creatures for the first time, as well as a traditional sandbox game mode.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
So
boy.
this a mate of mine, Dylan, he this is the game that's keeping him alive during lockdown. Like
Really?
as in he's just been playing the living fuck out of the first game.
Yeah.
And yeah, so when I I sent him this and I've at least got him until November. So I've helped push him through. So
Good.
thank you, thank you, thank you, Gamescom.
So I've always, and the first one, like I've had it on my wish list for a while, and it's like constantly now at this point, like $10. I just never pulled the trigger, but like those types of games like that, Surviving Mars, like City Skylines, these management like sim games, like those are some of my favorite. But I just haven't
Yeah.
tried the first one. But I mean, hell, at this point, I might as well wait for the second one and see what it's about.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a big fan of those management style sims, like farming games as an example. That's my shit.
Oh, really?
Like yeah, yeah. I love farming games. Like that, they are my zen. They're the games I whenever I'm need a pick me up, I go and play Harvest Moon or Story of Seasons or something. That's kind of my go to.
Oh, okay.
But that comes that with this as well. Like it does have that same level of like, you know, you get kind of lock in, you get stuck in the minutia of running the park, which kind of is that great sort of repetition, but not having to think scenario.
Yeah.
So it does become like that, you know, roller coaster tycoon, etc. Cities, you know, Sim City, City Skylines, except like the attractions can fucking eat people. So that part is pretty fun because they escape out of the cages and stuff, and you know, you got to make sure to not put certain dinos near other dinos because they'll just break through that fucking fence and eat each other. Like
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah. I'm trying to think the last. I guess Planet Coaster is the last like management game that I played on PS5, and it's fine, but I feel like it's missing a little something. So maybe this one, maybe Jurassic World Evolution 2 will scratch the itch for me. I don't know.
Well, it depends. If you're a hard on, if you got a hard on for the Jurassic franchise, then it probably will work for you. Are you a fan of the Jurassic?
I'm a passive fan. Like I've seen the movies, but it's not. I think I'm the guy who, well, you and I both. We grew up with the originals. I think you and I are similar in age, so the originals to me are really where it's at. So I don't know. I guess in a way, yes, but also not so much. Like now that I'm older, I don't know, but I'm gonna keep my eye on it. If it gets reviewed well, I'll probably give it a shot. Also, Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt shared a new gameplay trailer and announced that it would launch in early access on Steam on September the 7th. However, German Game Ratings Board USK has listed the third-person free-to-play battle royale game for a PlayStation 5 release as well, although they haven't mentioned that at all. It's interesting. Tropico 6 developer Limbic Entertainment announced a new theme park management game, here we go, called Park Beyond, and shared that it will launch sometime next year on PlayStation 5. This game actually, at first, I wasn't totally into it, but then I read a little bit, like I did on a lot of these after the fact, and they're basically trying to go for roller coaster tycoon, but you don't have to have all of these rules of like how rides and roller coasters work.
So all the safety is sort of gone.
Yeah, basically is my understanding of it, which sounds kind of fun. That it's even more over the top than something like Planet Coaster or whatever the case is. So I'm also loving that management games are really like becoming a thing. Like we have so many now that are coming out or have come out, and on console specifically, I know there's shit tons upon shit tons on PC. Like I get that, but on console, really pleases me greatly that we're getting so many of these.
Well, spot on, because with the management games, it is very difficult to translate to a controller.
Yeah.
Because the amount of inputs, the amount of the amount of individual key presses and controls is near exhausting on a controller.
Yeah.
So as developers are getting better at bringing them across, we are going to see more and more and more. Like, because that's always been the biggest hiccup is you try to play it and you're like, this is dumb. I actually need a mouse here. This is unplayable.
Yeah, some do it really well and some are just shit, and I'm trying to think of one. I mean, Surviving Mars did it really well. Planet Coaster was fine. 2 Point Hospital, which I've played as well in the recent
God, yeah. 2 Point is brilliant, and it's really well played on the on consoles.
It is. 2 Point Campus is high on my list for next year. It looks awesome.
Ooh, yeah, give me. Yeah, I want it so bad. Look, admittedly, I kind of forgot the 2 Point Campus was a thing.
Yeah.
So you just got me all excited again. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I think all they've said at this point is 2022. I don't think they've actually said like spring,
Yeah,
summer.
just 2022. Yeah,
Yeah.
Because my brain goes, cool. That news is in. I will consider that in 2022.
I mean, dude, so much is coming out in 2022. You almost cannot.
We are fucked.
Oh, absolutely. You really can't. I mean, you borderline can't keep up with it. Honestly, like you're almost better off just like, oh, that comes out next week, or oh, that comes out in 2 weeks. Okay, forgot about that.
Yeah. So that's what I really love about the content that I make, and I feel that you're the same. Is that because we go out of our way to not try everything or play everything. Like, we're very lucky. We're in a good position where we can normally have access to games that we need to, and all that sort of nonsense. But with that comes, we get to pick the games that we want. And I guess, I mean that in terms, because when you hear about outlets like, oh, I played this shitty game and that shitty game, like if you come to listen to our show, and you're the same as well, because we get the games that we want,
right.
Like most of them are good. Like, hey, this game was really good. Like, there's always that good positive energy, because why play the games I don't fucking want to?
Exactly. Yeah, we're not playing shit that doesn't look good to us, which is...
Yeah, so I look over at 2022 and it's stacked with games. I'm like, yeah, but I don't even want to play like half of these.
I know. Yeah, that's fair too. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I'm going to have to like get a second job or something. I don't know. It's a lot. Also, indie adventure game Jet: The Far Shore shared a new trailer which announced the game will launch on PS4 and PS5 on October the 5th. Horizon Forbidden West developer Guerrilla Games confirmed that what had long been rumored, that Horizon Forbidden West will miss a 2021 release and instead will launch on February the 18th for PS4 and PS5. In addition, a new performance patch for Horizon Zero Dawn dropped during the show, allowing the game to now play at 60 frames per second and backwards compatibility on PlayStation 5. Talk to me.
Yeah, so look, I'm a little mad at Horizon, not for like actual real reasons. So at the start of every year, my co-host Max and we have been doing a video games draft, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is that we pick 8 games each from a list provided to us by the community. And then at the end of the year, we collate their Metacritic scores, and that is what we use to see who wins. Last year, I smashed his fucking face in. It was awesome. This year, however, I went ballsy and I picked a bunch of, like, I didn't plan for the pandemic to just get so much worse.
Sure.
But I got decimated. So right now, because if it doesn't release in 2020 in the year, it does not count. Period.
Oh.
So part of my list were Horizon Forbidden West. It was my first pick, by the way, my number one draft pick.
Oof.
And they're like, it's not coming. I'm like, get fucked. I did take the ballsy pick of God of War Ragnarok. Yeah, it went well.
Yeah.
And I also got fucked over by Hogwarts Legacy, and also got fucked over by Gotham Knights. So out of the 8 games that I selected, literally half of them aren't dropping this year. But Max played the smarter game. He went a lot more smaller games that had that higher chance. So all 8 of his games have come out already.
They're already. So all of his list has already made it out.
Yeah, he played a much smarter game this year than I did.
Yeah, well, he just didn't take any risk, which that's never fun.
Well, because the year before he just went hard with all the biggins, and then I got cocky on my second time. I PS3'd this bastard, and then he came through and 360'd it. So like, it's just unexpected.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, the pandemic has PS3 to 360 to a lot of people in the past year or so. So that's fair.
Like, I was all cocky and confident, like this shit's gonna be amazing, and then it didn't. And the people, the surrounding environment were like, nah, man.
Yeah, so a couple things about Forbidden West.
So I really got distracted. We were answering.
Oh yeah. Go ahead,
weren't we?
Yeah.
No, it's all right. I don't have ADHD. You do. So yeah, look, this does make sense. It makes a lot of sense having it come out at the front end of next year. it is kind of sweet because it does make it like 5 years near on the day when it came out, when the first one came out with the Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
That is like accidentally kind of cool. I'm a fan of that.
Agreed.
I mean, like I said, admittedly, I'm a little bit disappointed, but it does also make me reconsider the year for next year. And it also does kind of fit what my original prediction space was. I feel that with this pandemic, everything has been shifted by about 6 months, right?
Yeah.
And I think we sort of saw that from pretty much from the middle of last year. Everything sort of started shifting a little, like a good half a year. And that does check out here as well, with this originally expected to come out in October, now in February. So that is about 4-ish months.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, in terms of the marketing cycle, there is like people are like, oh, still coming out in October. I'm like, dude, Sony will not do a marketing cycle of 2 months. Not a chance.
No.
Especially with a game like this, they'll want to throw this game everywhere. So at earliest, it would be February. I was pretty more confident on March, but yeah, no, like this checks out in a bunch of business related ways and a bunch of like just making sense.
Yeah,
Ways.
I agree with that. And I think that once over the summer, I guess they put out that state of play that showed the gameplay of it in like May, and then like a month later or so, they talked about it at something else and said, that's where they basically said, oh, we think we're on track to release this holiday, but we're not sure. Like that was the writing on the wall. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that was it. Right. And
Yeah.
at the same time, though, there was still a small part of me that held out hope that perhaps it would come like December, something like that. But Sony doesn't typically do that. I don't feel like December releases for PlayStation. And
no, the only exception to the rule is Last Guardian, like because they that released in December,
yeah,
mostly because they just had to. But yep, other than that, they tend to not release anything from about November, like sort of late October, mid-November, and then December, allowing for all their third party and second party connections to sort of really drop, like your Call of Duties, etc.
right. So I guess my theory for next year's cadence of releases is obviously Horizon in February. I think that we're going to get Gran Turismo 7 sometime around the summer, maybe June. And then I think God of War, Ragnarok, or whatever they're going to call it, will be the big fall game. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm in a similar space. Like, so the PlayStation have been pretty good at releasing it. They're doing the three a year, and that does check out in a number of ways. Yeah, February, June, and then October, November, probably October. I'm thinking.
Yeah,
around there.
This is kind of off. We're getting in the weeds a little bit, but what do you think about when we will hear from PlayStation again in terms of like, hey, here's a hour-long showcase. It's what we've got coming in, 2022 and beyond, whatever. Like they've been a little quiet, What do you have any? Do you have any opinion?
My original, because we are heading on the year since the PS5 big showcase. That was in September, so it's possible we could get something next month.
Yeah.
However, like for those that I imagine many haven't checked out my show, but one of the pictures that I had was around the Abandon app and how it in fact wasn't an app for one game. It was essentially the PlayStation Experience app, where they would be able to show demos and have small gameplay and like literally everything that app touted to be would be exceptional within a with a company that no longer wants to go to show, to events like your PAXs, like your Gamescoms, like your TGS and stuff like that. It seems a great way to be customer facing in terms of, hey, I know you can't go to PAX, but here are a bunch of trailers that you can only get through your PlayStation. It gets people heading to the console, which is a bit tough because not everyone has PS5.
Yeah, right.
But I love that from a unique way. They get the biggest decision around all these individual showcases, all these individual pieces is controlling the message. How more can you control the message by having it available on your console? Having its own built-in app where you can like, hey, watch the new trailer for Horizon and play it for 10 minutes.
I love that theory. That's not one that I've considered or heard. I've had a lot of theories about the Abandon app. You and I could probably do an entire other show about Abandon alone, but that's a very interesting theory. I've not considered that, but at this point, with how much nonsense that there is around Abandon, it could be literally anything. It could be fuck all. Like anything.
if anything, looking at the the PSN, like knowing how the PSN backend is built on like a potato, it part of me goes, this inability to make this app work kind of checks out. In terms of Sony's inability to run back-end system. So I was looking at this going, okay, man, it's very possible that this is the case. But yeah, my heart broke real hard. I was like, oh, there's no chance that happening. This is just one guy conning everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, bummer. But yeah, that's my thing. So I would like to think that my original pitch was something would be coming within that app, and there'd be this great unique way. Like the reason they've been quiet for so long is like we've been working on this. We've been pushing this this app secretly, because in the app, you're going to see all our upcoming trailers. You're going to see whatever Abandon is, because at the time the major belief was that it was a placeholder name for something exciting and something actually good. So that it seemed like a really, really cool and interesting way to reveal a bunch of shit, other than, hey, here's this video on YouTube.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what it actually ends up being. I'm fascinated for a number of reasons, but hopefully we'll hear more in the near future.
Do you think we'll see something soon, or?
I honestly, I don't know. I feel like whatever week that my gut tells me that whatever week that we finally hear from PlayStation, like, oh, hey, tune in on Thursday for a PlayStation, what's next, whatever, Future of PlayStation showcase. I feel like that week is when it's going to be like, boop, and they're going to come back alive, like they're going to come back from these periods of silence that they have. And, Hassan Karama is going to do some other bullshit, wacky interview with some outlet you've never heard of and stuff like that. And I don't know, man, I don't know what to think of it anymore. But I mean, I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. I'm having fun with it, because this is something fun in the game space to keep up with.
Oh, so you mean the Abandon stuff? Yeah, look, it was fun. Because I remember discussing about on my show as well. Like, yeah, it is this great, unique way of marketing, right? Like, at its original setup, it was that right amount of teasing, but with it's revealing without revealing it, right? So, I'm a massive wrestling fan. So an example is CM Punk, who is a wrestler that hasn't been around. He kind of left the business about 6-7 years ago. He recently just re-debuted at AEW, which is a brand new promotion. And essentially for like the 3 weeks leading up to his comeback, they did everything but say CM Punk is here. It was so obvious, but they were playing into that shit. Like, they never confirmed it. They never denied it. They would just drop the occasional bit of fun. And like there was a joke around what CM it stands for in CM Punk, and interviews back in the day, it was like Chick Magnet, it was Cookie Monster, whatever, right? So one of the champion of the promotion, Kenny Omega, came out over a couple of weeks in different shirts, one in a Cookie Monster shirt, one in a Chick Magnet shirt, like all these little touches that if you're paying attention, you'll go, that's clearly fucking referencing something,
right?
And it feels that's kind of what this whole thing was supposed to be, but it wasn't, like, just executed poorly.
Right.
And then when the time came, CM Punk came out and everyone lost their collective shit, right?
Yeah.
But when the time came, Abandon did nothing.
Yes.
So like all the excitement, everything about it is just completely ceased.
Yeah.
Like, so they could come out next week and go, hey, we're going to have something next week. Everyone's like, I don't fucking care.
Right. And I just realized that you were asking when I think that PlayStation may pop up with a showcase. So that's my fault. But to answer that question of yours, I feel like September is a good time because it's after Gamescom. We're before the big fall rush. And so I could definitely see, like, September makes sense. And then it also, to your point earlier, it does make sense to do something, kind of in the time frame that they did the big PS5 thing last year. So I mean, it just seems like a good time. But I don't know. I mean, it just feels like, this is how Sony operates nowadays with their marketing, with their communication. It's just like they're just going to pop up whenever the hell, and they know everybody's going to be there, and they're going to pay attention, and they can say what they need to say, and then they can fuck off for a little while, and just sporadically have a PlayStation blog post or whatever. So I mean, and it's working, obviously, but I don't know. I'm hoping for something soon, like everybody. But can I tell you, before we go back to Opening Night Live, I've got to tell you a quick John Cena story.
Oh yeah, but give me.
Okay.
Sure.
So in a past life, I worked in facility and event management. Okay. And at one of the facilities that I worked at, we hosted WWE once a year. And we were a medium-sized venue, I would say, like not like a big, arena, like 25, 30,000 seat arena, nothing like that. Much smaller, like 7 or 8,000. So what the WWE would do is they would use our venue as almost like a test, like a pilot for storylines and
the house shows.
how as a house show. So you're familiar with this. So I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. I know you're a big fan, but anyway, so John Cena was going to come. That this was the thing, like he was the headliner, whatever at the time. So then I guess there was a storyline that the WWE put out as part of the show was that John Cena couldn't make it or something like this. But don't worry, guys, we've got his cousin, and his name is Juan Cena, and he's going to fill in for John. So the ticket office, the box office was getting calls like, I didn't pay money to come see Juan Cena. I want my money back, all this shit. Right.
Yeah.
So then, the show comes and they're whatever, the different matches and everything are going on. And then, so the whole time John Cena is in the back playing cards with one of the referees in the hallway and drinking whiskey, And then whatever, it's his time to come out. He puts the like Nacho Libre mask on, and he comes out, and everybody's boo, whatever. And then he to what you're kind of like what you were just saying. He takes the Nacho Libre mask off, whatever, Lucha Libre, and they just go nuts because they're like they realize, and they start playing his walkout music, and I mean the place goes nuts apparently. And so they did that, and I love that story about John Cena and the WWE. He's just back there playing cards, drinking a little whiskey, comes out, takes his mask off, does his thing. It's hilarious to me.
Well, that's what Kurama needs to do. Take off that mask.
Yeah.
And be Kojima this whole time. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
So that story is incredibly relevant, and that's what should happen.
Yeah. I would love that. That'd be fantastic. Be a great payoff, but I don't have any confidence. Anyway,
it's all good.
Back to opening night live here. We also, Ryan, got an update from Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, who revealed that Disney's Jungle Book themed costumes will be coming in waves in September. Genshin Impact also showed off the Horizon series Aloy in the game for the first time. She will be available in the game starting on September the 1st. Sega or Sega, as you guys say down there, I guess. How do you say that, Ryan?
Oh, Sega.
There. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Sega.
There you go,
Sega.
We finally got it on the show, the authentic. They announced that Morgana from Persona 5 will join Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania as a playable character. Kung Fu Brawler Sifu got a slick new gameplay trailer, which announced that the game will launch on PS4 and PS5 on February 22nd. The game looks pretty awesome.
That game looks mint. Hey, it looks so good.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. Glad it's coming out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think I'm sure I'm certainly not the only person there to make this comparison, but it has that sweet Old Boy, the Raid mixed with like that Daredevil, fighting in the hallway thing. It kind of has this really rad feel to it. I just want to play it.
Yeah, I agree. It looks,
and like February 22, you're like, oh, that's like so far away, but it really kind of isn't.
Yeah, it's gonna be
because I'll be locked down till then, but other than that, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and hopefully, I'm sure it'll do fine, but it's going to be, like we've mentioned, it's going to be rammed right in there with, all kinds of shit. Horizon, Saints Row. It's literally right between Horizon and Saints Row. But it's not like it's trying to compete with those games either. It's a different tier altogether. So there's that. And then finally, Death Stranding showed off a new gameplay trailer breaking down everything new arriving alongside the director's cut. The trailer included deep dives on the new traversal options in the game, a new shooting range, replayable boss fights, new missions, a new racing mode, and a new photo mode, among other features. I don't think that I'm going to. I'm not going to play Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, not because I don't want to, but because I'm the guy who had the game physically on PS4, had the disc, and then I bought the digital PS5. So I would have to pay $70. Yeah, I would have to pay $70 for Death Stranding and also Ghost of Tsushima. So I'm
Hang on. Let me see what the Australian price is right now. Hang on.
okay.
Because that's the fun thing about Australian prices. They're fucked.
Yeah, so it's probably what 90 plus.
Oh, 125, I reckon.
Oh, fucking A.
Let me have a look. PlayStation Store. Here we go. Let's have a look.
Jesus
How
Christ,
much?
I definitely wouldn't do it.
124.95 Australian dollary dues.
Jesus Christ, I definitely wouldn't do it for that.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, it sounds cool. It looks cool, but I'm out. So
yeah, look, I will check out the director's cut for Death Stranding. I love Death Stranding. It was my game of the year that it dropped, which is what 2019.
yeah, it was great.
It's absolutely fantastic. Now, don't get me wrong. Like when I was playing it, I didn't go, man. You know what I need? More shooting ranges, or you know what this game would really need?
Yeah.
Racing. Like they weren't things that I was asking for because if anything, the vehicles handled like they handled like just like they were just sloppy and it wasn't like tight and like the part of the game that was really good wasn't me driving vehicles.
No.
It was bad. Like you can see it in the trailer, like when you're driving that big fucking tank, that like truck looking thing, and it's like barely hitting the corners.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you showing this footage?
Yeah.
You're showing me that I don't want to drive these things.
It really is ass.
It is a rough sell. But that's cool. But yeah, like the more story, like there are some more story missions in there, which does get me excited. I did love what I loved about Death Stranding was its story, and part of me does want to play it again just to experience it again. And having it run on the PS5 in like 4K 60 or whatever they're aiming to hit does tick a lot of boxes for me because the game, with it not being so mechanically intense, it has allowed for the game to have a lot of visual flair. So knowing that to then bump it up to the next hardware, like they can be like, oh well, let's just take what already looked fucking fantastic and make it look better. And that's what's got me excited. It's like when there's certain games, you're like, well, you move that up, you can only do so much because of the back end work. But the game is very simple. Hence why they're able to get it out in like 2 and a bit years, not even. So
yeah,
and I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I am super keen, actually.
Cool. Well, I empower to you, but I, like I said, I just can't.
But once again, that also does come a place of privilege.
Yeah.
Where I know very well that I will be getting a code, so I could be excited for it.
Yeah, that's fair. You know what? You got to take advantage of that as well. Number 2, John Burton, the founder of Traveler's Tales, who are better known as TT Games, claimed in a video on his YouTube channel this week that Insomniac Games misled players about the technology behind Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Burton, who left Lego game developer TT Games in 2019 after founding the company in 1989, specifically targeted the Rift sequences in the game, stating that they could have been pulled off on the PS4 and possibly even the PlayStation 3. According to website Video Games Chronicle, as an example, he used a section of the game where Ratchet is on a speeder bike, goes through a portal, and lands on a grind rail. Burton stated that the game is deliberately placing the player into very small stages with limited control, I should say, to help manage the data being streamed in, and ultimately concluded that the effect could have been achieved with memory buffers on older hardware. And what do you have any thoughts on John taking a shot here?
I believe John is 100% correct. So what I did review the game when I played it before it came out. I was able to review it as well. So
yeah,
but as I was playing it, I'm going, this isn't that intense.
Yeah.
Like have you been playing Ratchet yet?
Yeah, I beat it. I did. I finished it.
That's right.
Great game.
Yeah, like as I'm going, like I don't know how the back end of games work. That's not my wheelhouse. That's not my forte.
Sure.
But I'm looking at this going, this isn't that intense. Like, because a lot of it are planned sequences, so you can hit that, stream that data an easy way. Even within the gameplay itself, when you're drifting yourself from A to B, like it's not that far. All it's doing is just pulling the world back, right? It's not your character. Like, so Ratchet jumps and the whole world just shifts back. That is not as intense as you think it is. And every time they do those big where you go between like dimensions and worlds, and they are all not pre-rendered, they are all in very closed scenarios.
Yeah. You're right.
So John's straight up, as far as I know, straight up correct.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you said or anything John's saying necessarily. Now, if you want to sit here and say like, look, there's no way the PlayStation 4 could do ray tracing and yada yada yada, then absolutely, I could buy that.
Oh, yeah, that's very true. You can't make it look as good as the
Yeah.
PS4 on the PS4. However,
Right.
this system you could certainly do.
Yeah, but exactly, if you want to say, hey, the Rift, we could have probably done on PS4, PS3. Yeah, I would buy that as well because I don't think maybe Insomniac misled intentionally. I think they were they were hyping it up, they're marketing it, and maybe that was misleading. I don't know, but I mean, they were certainly in the game as a feature, but did they blow me away? Certainly not.
Yeah, like because the accusation is sounds intense.
Yeah.
Because it does. It sounds if he's intentionally gone out of his way. Like, sorry, Sony have intentionally gone out of their way to straight lie to you about something.
Right.
For like, I disagree with it possibly being on the PS3, but it makes sense. It's sure, why not? But yeah, unless they because they did say it's only, like, did they say it was only achievable through the power of the PS5?
They
Is that
did.
part of their marketing?
They did.
Oh yeah, it kind of changes things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I know it's uncomfortable. I don't see anything coming out of this because like this is the beauty or the beauty and also the curse of the game space. No one's talking about Ratchet anymore.
True. Yeah, we've played it, we beat it.
2 months.
Yeah, we played it, we beat it, we've moved on. So you're right. Number 3, in an interview last weekend with Game Informer, our boy Herman Hulst, the head of PlayStation Studios, told the publication that PlayStation is still very much invested in Japan and Japanese game development. Hulst stated, quote, "I will say that we are in some ways very much a Japanese company still. That's our heritage. That's part of who we are. We love our Japanese games. We are investing in our external development group out of Tokyo as well, and that's a team that has obviously worked with the likes of From Software and Kojima Productions. So we are very interested in Japanese development, and Japanese development is something that we love. I think it's such a core part of the PlayStation identity that I can't ever see us shy away from Japanese or even Asian development," end quote. So, Sony, I guess, has sort of taken a hit in recent months because they, closed down Japan studio, that sort of thing. So, do you have any thoughts on what Herman is saying here?
Look, I think I think they're spot on. Like PlayStation as a company is becoming that worldwide brand. It is making its way into to essentially be run out of the US. So
Yeah.
it's not as if we haven't seen but I do think they will keep that core of what they are. They are as he said, they are a Japanese company. And that to me that checks out. Like there are most JRPG creators don't go to other platforms. They go to Nintendo or they go to PlayStation or both because they're both Japanese based and founded companies, and they get it. They understand the games that come out of that country, the games like the style that comes out of that country.
Yeah.
So I can't even though I do think PlayStation is becoming bigger and more ambiguous in what country it's really based in, but it's becoming very American. I don't see them splitting off from their Japanese roots just yet.
Really, the only thing that I take away from this is the fact that, and maybe I'm just reading into this, you can tell me what you think, but the fact that he specifically mentions From Software and Kojima Productions after there are rumors that From Software is making a PlayStation exclusive title, and then also after there have been rumors in the past that Kojima may, sign with Xbox to make a game, and we don't really know what he's doing next still. So do you read into that at all in terms of him mentioning either of those studios specifically, or do you think he's just picking two high profile Japanese studios that they've worked with?
I would like to.
Yeah.
I would like to think that this is once again using my wrestling love.
Yeah.
To be like, oh my god, he dropped the best in the world, so that means this person's coming back. I mean, it is that kind of idea. Like they've name dropped these two, but I do genuinely think that it is primarily like these are right now these are the biggest and most easily recognizable Japanese developers.
Yeah.
And that's the pull.
Yeah.
For me.
Fair. All right, number 4, Ryan. We also have a bunch of news nuggets, and we typically kind of run through these, but you feel free again, like we did with opening night live stuff. Feel free to jump in here wherever you please if something tickles your fancy. First nugget: new previous new previews for Elden Ring released on Friday, and we learned quite a bit about the game and its features. It will include the ability to fast travel from anywhere on the map, multiple paths and endings, the ability for archers and magicians to fight from horseback, so-called legacy dungeons, stealth mechanics, and a hub area with NPCs, among various other features. EA Sports released the first look at NHL 22 gameplay this week. The trailer detailed the new changes from the move to EA's Frostbite engine, further details on X Factor abilities, major improvements to stick physics, and a new augmented reality in-game user interface. And I don't know if you're into hockey at all, but the new augmented reality in-game user interface looked really cool. It's something interesting that I have not seen before in a sports game, really. So something different. Also, a new sizzle reel for the upcoming Uncharted movie apparently debuted at CinemaCon this week, as reported by Screen Rant, and it featured Tom Holland, who plays Nathan Drake, falling out of an airplane. The film was scheduled to release on February the 18th.
It does sound very Uncharted-y.
It very much does. Do you have an opinion on this movie and if what you think about if it's going to be good or bad or mediocre?
Well, part of me thinks it's going to be balls, but
Yeah.
I'm still going to go see it anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, once again, February 18th.
Yeah.
Probably still in lockdown. So
True.
I'm very keen to acquire it on the internet because there are no cinemas open right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, the day Horizon comes out. It's a lot of Sony stuff going on, or a lot of PlayStation.
Okay, cool. That means one of these is going to get buried. Like,
right.
Sony will just pick one and bury the other. So
I wonder if this is really conspiratorial, but do you think they may feel like, hey, this isn't all it's going to be cracked up to be? What can we do here? Oh, let's just fucking put Horizon out that day, and maybe, that'll distract from it some. I mean, surely not. I mean, that probably, those two probably aren't related and all, but I don't know. It just seems odd. Of course, PlayStation, I feel like, has never been totally great either at giving things runway, in terms of marketing all the time. So I don't know. I'm probably just overthinking it, but it seems odd to have both of those things on the same day.
You are a little spot on. Like this, because and the most recent example I can think of is when they're like Concrete Genie's cool, but it's not going to be big gangbusters cool. So let's just drop the information about the PS5 on the same day.
Yep, they did do that.
So that, which is insane because Concrete Genie was awesome and it reviewed really well. So why bury it? I guess they didn't have the faith in it. But this makes sense. Either they want two ways. They want it to go, let's make it a big fucking PlayStation day.
Yeah.
And let's just throw two big, essentially our two biggest franchises over two big medium. Let's just drop it on the same day. We will own the news cycle.
Yeah.
Or it's complete accident. And then they looked down the paper and went, fuck.
Yeah, you really don't know. It could be either way. Either way.
Yeah. Sony has proved that they can either be that well planned or that incompetent. So I mean, both options are as possible.
Yes, agreed. Next nugget, NBA 2K22's official Twitter account released a marketing roadmap this week for reveals leading up to the game's release on September the 10th. This week, we received information about seasons and the WNBA. The week of August 30th, we'll see news on gameplay and the My Team mode. And finally, on the week of September the 6th, we will get a breakdown of the city, My Career, and My NBA modes. A new Dying Light 2 trailer debuted this week at Xbox's Gamescom showcase, featuring the various factions that players can align themselves with, as well as some combat gameplay. The real news, however, is that the game is apparently still on track to release on December the 7th, which shocks me.
Yeah, I'm keen as hell for that, eh?
Dude.
Dying Light 2 looks fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm still I was alluding to, I'm still not convinced that it's going to release on December the 7th. I'm not totally sold on that because they, have had problems with development. They've had people leave. They've, it just seems a little bit kind of rocky for them at Techland, but I'm hoping that it comes out. And honestly, I want it to be good. But I'm going to wait for reviews, I think, on this one. I just want to make sure that it's not ass, and that it's a mess.
I understand your hesitation, but so I was aware of this release date like about a month or 2 months before they announced it,
Oh, okay.
and it hasn't changed. So
Hmm.
that leads me to believe they are very certain on hitting that December. Like it's not
Okay.
as if it was originally, like the date that I heard from the places was still December.
Okay.
So it wasn't like even before they announced the December date, it was not as if it was October, then they moved it to December when they announced it. Like they've been planning for December this whole year.
Gotcha.
So
Okay. Well, that's a good sign.
that's certainly a good sign. Part of me thinks that it will land, or if it does, it may get bumped in like January. But
Hmm.
there is nothing else coming in December. It'll work greatly within their favor to come out, especially on the back of their news that it was indefinitely delayed for a while there,
Mm-hmm.
back in 2020. So this would be a good sort of come up story for me. And as my co-host Max, he is like frothing at the mouth at wanting to play this. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
adored the first game. It sounds like you guys did too. It's
yeah.
fantastic. So I'm really hoping this one is good as well. Also, Watch Dogs Legion received its injection of Assassin's Creed content this week, featuring free missions and quests for all. Season pass owners for the game can now also play the entire main campaign as an assassin of the Creed. No pun intended.
Oh yeah, woohoo! I'm glad that people spend their money on that season pass. Woohoo!
Big fart noise there.
Yeah, but massive fart noise on that shit. No.
A new Destiny 2 showcase revealed a new trailer for the upcoming Witch Queen expansion this week, which was announced to be releasing on PS4 and PS5 on February the 22nd, yet something else coming in February. Website Game Developer reported that publisher Gearbox is spending 200 million, I should say, Canadian to open a second studio in Montreal, Canada. $200 Canadian.
You didn't put the million in, so they're just spending $200 on opening a new studio. So
dude, welcome to
they're
Travis's
going
world.
all out.
They are. Welcome to Travis's world, where my typos and missed words really change the meaning of a sentence. Can you believe?
Like if I can open a studio for $200 Canadian, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. That's dope.
Yeah, fuck yeah, absolutely. So, so they're spending 200 million Canadian to open a second studio in Montreal, Canada, and the new team will work on the Borderlands franchise and also develop a new IP. They said. Website Push Square reported that PlayStation 5's new updated hardware model has gone on sale this week. As we've discussed in the past, the updated SKU features a slightly lighter build and a new stand screw that can be hand tightened. Thank Christ for everybody who bitched about it.
Yeah, so these actually dropped in Australia about a week or so ago.
Okay.
They just kind of rocked up. So Press Start, which is sort of the biggest news gaming news source here. Yeah, they just went, hey, we just got word there's the new fucking PS5s here, and yeah, so to make it even differently. So there was the two SKUs. The two new SKUs, the 300 grams lighter with the new base and screw.
Yeah.
Originally, it was only going to be the digital version, but the versions that rocked up here in Australia were the disc versions. So there's like a whole separate, like it's not real, like it's really irrelevant information.
Sure.
But yeah, so it looks like that. My prediction is, how they were developing out of Foxconn, in China, and they're also doing some work in Taiwan as well.
Mhm.
I think we're now starting to see what has been made in Taiwan's getting out there in the wild as well. So
okay,
it means that I think we're starting to see those two factories sort of start actually be able to ship their consoles. So hopefully we can reduce the availability.
Yeah, start to satiate some of that demand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, good word, that satiate.
Satiate. Also, Assassin's Creed Odyssey received a new patch this week that enables 60 frames per second support for the game running on PS5 and PS4 backwards compatibility mode. PlayStation users were treated to an exclusive Call of Duty Vanguard Champion Hill alpha over the weekend. The mode featured 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4 variants of what appears to be an update on the 2v2 gunfight mode, first introduced with 2019's Modern Warfare. A new F1 2021 patch has re-enabled 3D audio on PlayStation 5. Thank God. A new patent from Sony introduces the concept of a dynamic, evolving, and personalized PlayStation Store for each user that will evolve alongside their gaming habits. Interesting. Wasteland 3 will get its final piece of DLC on October the 5th called Cult of the Holy Detonation. World War II first-person shooter Hell Let Loose began its closed beta on PS5 over the weekend, and it will last until August 31st for those interested. I'll have something to say about that in a little bit. The native PS5 version of Little Nightmare 2 released this week, and current PS4 owners can upgrade now for free. Fast-paced, combat-focused action game Ultra Age released gameplay this week, and it will release on PS4 on September the 9th. Guilty Gear Strive received its first balancing patch this week, which includes reduced input delay on PS4 Pro and PS5. The September PlayStation Plus lineup was allegedly leaked this week by a website called dlabs.com, whatever, whoever correctly leaked the lineup in the past. The reported lineup includes Overcooked All You Can Eat on PlayStation 5 with Hitman 2 and Predator Hunting Grounds on PS4.
Yeah, that is a good lineup. I almost bought Overcooked the other day, so this is really good news.
Yeah, Overcooked is fun. Have you ever played it?
Yeah, no, so I actually I use it at work a lot.
Oh, okay.
It's a great. Oh, sorry, for context. My day job, I'm a mental health support worker that uses games as therapy pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's really good for like frustration tolerance, teamwork, cooperation, like all the little beats that we try to get to help these, because we work with kids with mental health challenges and on the autism spectrum. So in order to get them to work with each other, it's a great game to do that because it's fun, but it's intense. It's that right amount of pressure. You know what I mean? And everyone has their role, so everyone can really feel that they're helping the team. It's Overcooked is tremendous. And if it's free, I don't have to buy it for work, which is so good.
Yeah, there you go. And it absolutely is perfect for everything you just said. I couldn't think of a better game. Also, a Lost to Judgment demo appears to be imminent as Twitter account PSN Releases discovered files in the database on the Japanese and Asian sides of the network. eFootball, the free-to-play successor to Pro Evolution Soccer from Konami, released a bizarre gameplay trailer this week full of fine print that indicated many of the game's features will not be available until post-launch, including the ability to trap the ball. And
rad.
This is a fucking shit show, man. This is a disaster. I don't know what this was supposed to be or what they're doing, but it's
like, it's interesting because I love the idea of that service model soccer game. Like that is good. That's really what FIFA should be.
Yeah.
But I hope they do it better than this because fucking hell.
Yeah, agreed. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that publisher Electronic Arts announced 5 of its patents related to accessibility technologies in video games are now free for other developers and publishers to use. It's pretty cool of them.
Once again, someone that works in like disability support spaces, like fuck yes.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome of them to do that. Pretty cool. Here you go, Ryan. WWE 2K22 developer Visual Concepts announced that the game has been delayed to March of 2022. Website Sports Gamers Online claims that both 2K Sports and WWE have a quote-unquote seriously strained relationship stemming from the delay, with WWE threatening to work with other partners in the future. This, of course, comes after the franchise skipped an entry for 2020 following the disastrous WWE 2K20. Any thoughts?
Yeah. So, I have a lot to say about this.
Okay.
So 2K20 was absolute shit, but there were reasons for that. So prior to 2K20, there was I think the company that used to work, they've been making WWE games for the longest time. They just straight up left. They went, nah, we're done, and bounced. So then they had to bring in Visual Concepts, which are a team that primarily would work on the NBA, the NBA games.
Yeah.
Came in and then had to somehow fucking throw a game together to get it released. So hence why 2K20 is an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
Like you can just power somebody through the mat and they just fall into nothing and the game never ends. Like sometimes people just get caught in the ropes and everything wigs out and you get hair is disgusting. Like go if you're ever interested just for some absolute hilarity, go and look at like version 1 footage of 2K20.
Okay.
Because it is fucking bad. And like all the models are bad. Like it looks so shit. So having them skip a year, it was 100% necessary. And I can understand why the WWE would have issues with 2K Sports post that, especially, even though it's not entirely out of their control. But like WWE are also not helping this scenario. So when 2K20 did release, it was already outdated. Because they fired half the roster. WWE are really good at that. They're really good at just releasing wrestlers. So when the game came out in October of 2019, the fucking the month before it released, they completely redesigned the sets for both Raw and SmackDown, which were not in the game and were never put in the game.
Oh God.
Yeah, so and then people changed brands because there was a draft at that time as well before the game released. So in the game, like, hey, this person's on Raw, but they're not anymore.
Fantastic.
So WWE are at fault,
yeah,
for many things because they are a shithouse company. They are fucked, but and when it comes to the games not doing well or having a strained relationship, they are at fault here too.
Yeah.
So 2K Sports, they've done the best they can in the shitty space that they are working with, especially having Ukes pull the rug out from under them. I'm hopeful for 2K 2022, mostly because I just want to play it, and having it move from its regular window of around October, because that happens just before Survivor Series. They're moving it into March, which means it'll happen around WrestleMania or just before, which I think is actually a better time to release to really get that hype going for WWE around WrestleMania. I think you'll probably move more units.
That was fantastic analysis. You're now the resident WWE expert on the DualSense podcast.
Sounds good. So I'm going to use Travis when GT comes out because I fucking no idea. And we'll do swapsies. So I'll be back in March.
Perfect. Next nugget, industry insider Jeff Grubby Grubb, reported that NetherRealm Studios is now prioritizing Mortal Kombat 12's development over the next Injustice or the rumored Marvel game due to their uncertain future with Warner Brothers Games and potential complications with licensing DC or Marvel characters related to a potential sale.
Smart call.
It is. Website Bloomberg reported that former employees of Kingdoms of Amalur developer 38 Studios received their final paycheck this week, a mere 9 years after the developer closed following bankruptcy. Even so, the maximum amount an employee could receive was 20% of what their final check should have been. Website PlayStation Universe reported that the official Twitter account for the Tomorrow Children, a free-to-play PlayStation 4 MMO that was published by Sony, has recently come to life after having last tweeted in November of 2017. Very odd. An Apex Legends data mine suggests that a new tropical island map is coming to the game alongside its 11th season of content. Ubisoft confirmed that Far Cry 6 on PlayStation 5 will include support for the DualSense controller. Very excited about that game.
Very much so.
Two of video games' most iconic voice actors, Metal Gear Solid's David Hayter, who plays Solid Snake, and Deus Ex's Elias, I'm going to butcher this, Tufexis, who plays Adam Jensen,
close enough.
Are working on a game together, which is interesting. Cena Bridge of Spirits will take up just over 17 gigabytes of your PS5 SSD, according to Twitter account PlayStation Game Size. Website Gamatsu reported that mysterious adventure game The Wild at Heart will come to PS4 sometime this year. Indonesia-based developer Aussiesoft, a great name, announced Project Buramato.
That's the name for a show that should be here in Australia.
Absolutely.
That's fine.
Absolutely. They totally stole that.
Yeah, they pilfered that shit.
Project Buramato is a high fantasy 3D action adventure platformer based on traditional Bornean folktales. It is planned for release in late 2022 on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Multiplayer firefighting game Ember will exit early access and launch on PS4 on September the 23rd. Psychological thriller Alfred Hitchcock Vertigo has been delayed to 2022 on PS4 and PS5. 2D adventure game Asterix and Obelix, Slap Them All, will launch on PS4 on November 25th. 3D sci-fi fantasy action adventure game Xel or XEL, however you pronounce that, was announced for PS5 and will release in the second quarter of next year. Voxel-style open-world sandbox game The Tourist will come to PS4 and PS5 on September the 9th. The PlayStation 5 version will run at 8K resolution with super sampling at 60 frames per second or 4K at 120 frames per second. That's interesting. The game actually looks kind of cool, but I don't know much about it. Post-apocalyptic, narrative-driven, isometric, turn-based Australian RPG, here you go, Broken Roads, will release on consoles at some point in 2022.
Yeah, man, I'm very excited for this. Fun fact, so I live in Geelong, which is a town in Victoria, Australia.
Okay.
These guys that for Broken Roads is made in a beach town called Torquay, which is about 20 minutes down the road.
Oh, nice.
it's right around the corner. So I'm very happy to just be proximately near this game. But the game does look really fantastic. It's a real cool looking CRPG.
Yeah, it looks, I was going to say, it looks like a mix of like Disco Elysium and something else. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I watched the trailer for it. It looks cool. Real-time strategy RPG Spellforce 3 Reforest will launch on PS4 and PS5 on December the 7th, as well as the game's expansions Soul Harvest and Fallen God. Developer Ziggurat Interactive will release an enhanced version of third-person action RPG Enclave on PlayStation 4 sometime this fall. The game first launched on the original Xbox way back in 2002. Paradox Interactive will release grand strategy game Crusader Kings 3 Console Edition for PlayStation 5 at an undetermined point in the future. Slow Life Town Destruction game Deer Simulator, your average everyday deer game, what in the fuck, will exit early access and release on PS4 on November 25th. Side-scrolling action RPG Death Cathedral will launch on consoles sometime in 2022. Sci-fi survival horror RPG Chernobylite has been delayed from September the 7th to September 28th on PS4. I'm keeping my eye on that one. I want to see what it gets reviewed. 2.5D side-scrolling shoot-'em-up sequel Valfaris Mecha Therion will release on PS4 and PS5 at an unannounced point in the future. Developer New World Interactive officially confirmed that tactical first-person shooter Insurgency Sandstorm will release on PS4 on September the 29th. The game will feature 4K resolution and backwards compatibility on PS5 as well. Twin-stick shooter Clid the Snail will launch on PS4 on August 31st, developer Weird Beluga Studio announced. Gungrave Gore will launch on PS4 and PS5 sometime in 2022. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl will include Cat Dog and April O'Neil as playable characters, they announced. She's everywhere. Racing simulation game Assetto Corsa Competizione will release on PS5 on February 24th. Current PS4 owners will receive a free upgrade. Turn-based roguelike game Crown Trick has been delayed from August 31st to September the 7th. Sandbox Island life game Trading Time was announced for PS4 and PS5, but no release date was given. Blasphemous will receive its Wounds of Eventide update on December the 9th, according to developer The Game Kitchen, who also announced that Blasphemous 2 is in development and will launch sometime in 2023. 2D action-adventure game There Is No Light will launch on PS4 sometime in November. Retro City smash-em-up game Terror of Himosaurus was announced for PS4 and PS5. It will launch in early 2022. Elysium Game Studio announced narrative-driven third and first-person action RPG Shadow of Conspiracy Section 2 for PlayStation 5, but no release date was given. They released a 6-minute gameplay demo for this game, and it looks insane. And it's definitely one I'm keeping my eye on. It's on Unreal Engine 5, and it looks, I mean, if an indie studio can make a game that looks like that, I'm very stoked to see what the larger studios can do. Tokyo Game Show 2021 will include a Sega Atlas live stream channel from October the 1st through the 3rd. And finally, Asobu will host its second annual 2-hour indie game showcase on September the 1st, featuring over 60 titles, including some from PlayStation. And that is all for the news this week. And that was a lot. Like we said, we had a lot to get through there. And I'm now going to turn it over to Ryan this week, who's filling in for Travis. I'm going to let him bring us all the new game releases for this week. Take it away.
All right. Coming out already on August 24th was Aliens Fireteam Elite, both on PS5 and PS4. Cats of War on PS4. Hoa, PS5 and PS4. That's calling someone a whore in the South, apparently. Hoa.
It is.
King's Bounty 2 on PS4. I Expect You to Die 2 on PSVR. I did get a code for that one. I haven't played it yet, but it looks fucking fantastic.
Cool.
Rims Racing PS5 and PS4. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 is coming to the PS5. On August 25th, Psychonauts 2 is out on the PS4. That game is reviewing exceptionally well.
It is, yeah.
August 26th is Islanders on PS5 and PS4, and Traffic Jams on the PSVR. And August 27th was Baldo, the Guardian Owls on PS4. Farm Frenzy Refreshed. I don't know what that is, but he's got farm in the name, so I'm intrigued. PS4, Horror Break on PS4, Instant Sports Paradise on PS4, One-Eyed Lee and the Dinner Party. That sounds sexual. PS5 and PS4. Pretty Girls Panic, somehow sexual.
Yes.
PS5, PS4, Super Animal Royale, hopefully not sexual. PS5, PS4, and Tormented Souls on the PS5.
Yeah, fantastic. That's all the new games that we got last week or this week, however you would like to look at it. And let's now start to wrap things up here, Ryan, as we typically do by discussing what we've been playing and if there's anything that we're looking forward to playing in the week ahead. So, what have you been up to? What's been on your PlayStation?
Look, my week's been admittedly really quite quiet in terms of the game. So
Yeah.
I'd say recently a lot of stuff has gone down for me at work. So I just come home, I'm like, because games are still, I said that they're my day job, they're my side hustle. So I've not really dived in too hard. I'm like, I need to fucking not think about games for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I've actually been a lot of Sons of Anarchy with a friend of mine through Discord, which has been awesome. But what I have been playing in that time is Hades.
Yes.
Hades is absolutely fantastic.
It really is.
So especially coming off the back of Returnal, which I wanted to like, but the game just proceeded to abuse me. Comparatively to Returnal, Hades, there's that constant sense of progression.
Agreed.
Whether it be even if you go in and you die in like the first room and you come back, you still feel like you've progressed because there is constantly story moving. You like there is always that feel that you are, even if you would die, almost that you were meant to die.
Yeah.
Because you're not like just like with Returnal, you would just die, you'd go back and you would have nothing, you start with nothing, and the game's like fuck you, and then you've got to do it again.
Yeah.
Which that shit's kind of fucked. But like, yeah, Hades feels good. I love it. It plays so well. Everyone's hot as fuck. Like, you know, in terms of their character models, and like everyone's attractive. Like,
Yeah.
it's good for that. Like, if you weren't aware you're into that shit, surprised you're about to learn you're into that shit.
Yeah.
Just by playing Hades.
I heard you talk on your guys' show about how if you weren't sure which side of the fence that you fell on sexually, this was the game for you to help you determine.
Yeah,
that.
the game may just tell you. You're like, all right, you're like, you know what? I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, no, the gameplay is tight. I love that the varying weapons, they do all feel very different and does completely change how you play. Even though it does have the randomness around the boons, at no point have I ever felt that like there's been one that I just simply cannot use, which is great. So I would find in return that's like, hey, here's this gun. Like, I fucking hate this gun. I can't use it. This gun has no use in this zone. It's absolutely waste my fucking time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've not had that level of like just, you know, get fucked from the game, which is really nice. I love that game. I've been really enjoying the fuck out of that game. Additionally, I have been playing Ghost of Tsushima, the director's cut.
Okay.
So yeah, so that code was provided to me by PlayStation Australia for disclosure purposes. It is more Ghost of Tsushima. It's very pretty, very pretty. Running in the high frame rate is absolutely stunning. Load times are even more ridiculously good. The dual sense use is insane. Like even just the opening title sequence, like where when you see the PlayStation Studios logo, like the symbols, and they show that just the rumble in that is beautiful. When you're riding the horse, like you feel it through the controller, and then the wind, when the wind comes past and hits Jin, like you feel it in the controller. Like a lot of extra thought has gone into those PS5 implementations, which are really quite nice. So I am using my newly purchased SteelSeries Arctis 7 Ps with the game. So it really is the headset designed for the console. So the 3D audio is brilliant. But these are things that are all present within the PS4 version. It did look good. It sounded good. It played good. So those things weren't going to be in question coming into the director's cut.
Sure.
So here in Australia, in order to upgrade to the PS4 to the PS5 version, for those that need to, it's like $49 Australian. Like it's pretty fucked.
Yeah.
So you have to be pretty interested in the game to do it, because it is half the cost of the base game. So it's very similar to the US pricing. It is half the release.
Yeah.
I have not dived into the Iki Island stuff. primarily because I never finished the campaign the first time.
Oh my
Because
god. Okay.
Samurai ain't my shit at all.
Okay, fair.
Like I did hit a weeb point, and I went, nah. There's only so much samurai, because like I really don't understand the fucking hard on that the internet has for samurai,
Yeah.
or that culture. I don't get it. And I did feel like this game was like a neckbeard's wet dream for many people. But look, it is still very, very good.
Yeah.
I will be spending more time with it when I'm not watching Sons of Anarchy, I guess. It is. Is it worth the upgrade? Potentially. So my understanding is the Iki Island is the expansion is about 10-ish hours if you kind of max it out. So it's essentially like $5 an hour of play. That's not bad. And the jewel, like if it depends on it all comes down to how much you love the first, like when you played Ghost the first time.
Sure.
If you finished it and you want more and you want cool features, then yeah, it's probably for you. But yeah, I like yourself, Jason. I don't see it's probably worth the $70 for you.
Yeah, I just can't justify that. And it's not, I loved the game, but that's not something that it's not a pill that I can easily swallow for that, or Death Stranding, which I also really loved. So I'm not on board with that pricing scheme, but I get it at the same time. So
so I do understand like that, the like part of that breakdown of that cost is, it's, even if you were to say it's $50 Australian, right?
Right.
Pardon me, like $10 of that is the next gen upgrade, and then the other 40 is the DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that, like, in terms of pricing, yeah, that's not so bad for me. Like I've played $40 for DLC before.
Yeah.
And for DLC that's less, especially in time. If you value the time, the dollar value, the dollar time comparison, then yeah, this is not by far not going to be the worst spend you've ever had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So like, yeah, if you factor in that what has become the perceived $10 upgrade, it's a little bit more of an understandable cost, I think. But as I said, you still have to be very wanting to play it.
Yeah.
Again, and finally, I've been playing more Red Dead Online, because I know you and Travis have been big fans.
Oh yeah.
I dived in for the first time about a month or so ago.
Oh, okay.
Just out of nowhere, I was just like, hey, I want to play Red Dead. My mate's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So we've been rooting, tooting, cowboy shooting for like a good couple weeks now. And yeah, it's just fun. It's just good and mindless. Like it is zen. Like you just kind of,
yes,
like, oh, I've got to hike across the map. Okay. You just kind of like, don't even fucking worry about it. You don't have to fang the horse. You just kind of, I'll stroll. It'll be fine.
I need them to finish the GTA remastered so that they can get Rockstar Dundee back on the fucking Red Dead Online content creation pipeline. It's killing me.
It is bizarre. Like it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
On why that they're putting that focus on GTA, because once again, for like the umpteenth week, it is the best-selling game here in Australia on PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Like who the fuck is still buying this game?
Right.
Like, so it makes sense, but it's that weird, like, because the people that want to play GTA, they're not going to play Red Dead, because they are two very, very different experiences.
They are.
I mean, like, as in, like, one is intense, one is it can get intense, but it is relatively calm, and it's a very, chill out, relaxed, but still crime based game.
Yeah.
Where most attention struggling 12-year-olds really get a kick out of GTA.
Yeah.
And that people are turning 18 every day, so like everyone's going in and buying it, or just getting their accounts banned or whatever.
Yeah. that could be it too. Yeah.
And finally, I know what you've been playing as well as the Riders Republic beta. I did dive into that a little bit.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
I went in with like low expectations.
Yeah.
And I came out with none. It is like, even though it is exactly what I thought it was going to be, I went, oh fuck, all right, well that's not what I want to play. Like it was, because Steep was okay, very shallow of an experience, and this does feel like a spiritual successor to Steep, in a lot of ways. It's clearly like, well, Steep didn't do well, but we're doubling down on it because Ubisoft, to their credit, have been pretty good at doubling down on things, whether it be Siege or even some other things that didn't really go well. They went, you know what, we see potential in this, we're going to push forward. Same goes for the Division as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand why they would then try again and give it another go. The thing that got me disconnected from it was when it opens with like a little sampler. It's like, hey, here's a bike, here is snow, here is a jetpack. And then you go to this camp and there's this overactive person's like, hey man, how you doing? Rad, let's go fuck. And I'm like, you can get fucked. Like that is the line for me right there.
Dude, okay, so I'll start there. Since this is a perfect segue. I have also played the Riders Republic beta, and my opinion of it is that I also went into it with pretty much no expectations. My only thought about it was like, hey, this looks cool. And I've been saying on this show that I'm really in the mood for like an open world racing game. So this is kind of, in a way, that scratches that itch for me. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna check this out. So there's a little bit of jankiness to it because I think they sacrifice some of the graphical bells and whistles, obviously, for the big giant open world with hundreds of players around and all the shit going on, then people wingsuiting over you and zipping past you, everything. So that is cool. So there's that. There is some jankiness to it. But to your point, one of the really things that I don't care for about it is the how grating it is to have all of the fucking like cringiness of the dialogue and everything. Like you said, the guy in the food truck or whatever, he's like, hey bro, whatever. Like, I was kind of like you. I was like, oh God, please spare me. Like maybe that's part of the culture of those sports.
Look,
I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. My vocabulary is still very much based in late 90s, early 2000s. That's my shit.
Yeah.
Like the rampant use of rad and gnarly is part of my vernacular.
Sure.
But like when it comes with the dude, it's fucking like fucking throwing up gang signs and shit. I'm like, you can get out, dude. Like this is nah.
Yeah.
Like, it feels forced. And I think that's the issue.
Yes, you're spot on there. But however, the gameplay for me anyway, because I played it pretty extensively. I mean, for a beta, and you have to get past sort of like the introduction of it, whatever. And once everything kind of opens up to you, the gameplay is really satisfying to me. Like I enjoy doing all the tricks on the bike and the snowboard and everything. Like it's really cool. But here, in my opinion, I'm not sold on the fact that that's a $60 game, at least for me. I don't know that that's a game I would pay $60 for. So anyway, and then I'll just work in reverse here on my list. So I've also last night tried to play the Hell Let Loose beta with Travis, which is the World War II realistic shooter that is in beta right now on PS5 until the 31st. And I was having some internet problems, and my internet eventually shit the bed, and so it just kicked me off. I literally got to play like 10 minutes, so I don't really have much of an opinion on the game yet, other than it's definitely hyper realistic. I tried to drive a tank for a little bit, and I was having to shift gears in the tank and shit on the D-pad, and couldn't figure out why the fuck it wouldn't go. So if that's the type of shooter that you're into, a very realistic you have to shift gears in the tank style of shooter, then it's probably for you. But if you just want to, pop heads and, mash the trigger in, that's not your game. It's really the only thing I can say so far about it. And then also played Splitgate as well, like I talked with you about earlier. And I'm really taken by that game. I enjoy it way more than I ever thought I would. And I'll like I said, I'll play that off and on until Battlefield comes out, and I'll see how I feel after that. But I have a pretty good hunch that Battlefield will pull me away from that pretty easily. And then played Wipeout this week, and really just because we were talking about on the show last week how there's a rumor that Lucid Games is making a Wipeout game for PS5 and the next PSVR, and so it kind of got me in the mood and downloaded the Omega collection, played a little bit of that. Fantastic games, but didn't play too much. And then played just a smidge of FIFA 21 as well, and getting ready for FIFA 22. That's really it for me. In terms of what I'm going to look forward to or play in the week ahead is I'm going to give that Call of Duty Alpha a try. Check that out. I'm going to try to play some more Hell Let Loose and see if I can, not have my internet shit the bed on me. And that's really about it. I'm trying to think if anything's coming out this week that I'm interested in playing. I don't think so. So probably just more of the same for me, but that's about it. And unless you have anything else to add, we'll get out of here.
Yeah, no, I'll hope to check out I Expect You to Die 2
Oh,
on
yeah.
PSVR at some point this week. It's it's such a prick to set up the PSVR.
All the cables and everything.
Oh, it's just fucked. So it's always reluctant. Like, but yeah, no, that'll be the one I'll check out the most. I'll sort of, see where the week takes me, I guess.
Yeah. We're getting ready to get just hammered by fall games. I'm looking forward to Deathloop, which is in a few weeks, and then we get Far Cry.
Deathloop is like real soon.
Yeah, it's like 2, maybe 3. It's on the 14th, I think. So we got that coming. We've got Far Cry coming. We've got Battlefield. We've got, we'll get to the Call of Duties and shit, which I probably won't play that. And then Dying Light in December. So it's coming. We just have to still our minds. It's on the way. But Ryan, thank you again, man, for joining me and filling in for Travis. I really appreciate you doing it. I know you're a busy guy. You got a day job. You got a family. You do multiple shows. So I very much appreciate you hopping on here and doing this with me. And I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm more than happy, mate. This was an absolute blast. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. It was very nice to get the message on my Twitters, and it's been good. I love fucking chatting PlayStation at the best of times, and I love chatting PlayStation with people that I haven't before. So yeah, anytime, literally anytime.
Sweet. Well, if you guys enjoyed hearing Ryan on the show here, be sure to check out his show as well. It's For the Players. It's the PopCulturists PlayStation podcast. You can find it as well on all of the usual podcast services around the world. I'm sure that some people will be a little confused as to why, I've got this Australian bloke on the show this week, Ryan. And if any of your folks listen as well, they're going to be like, where the hell did Ryan get this cowboy hillbilly motherfucker from? So, so it's a little bit of a meeting of the worlds, but it's been fun. And again, I appreciate it. And we'll get out of here. If you guys enjoy the show, again, don't forget to subscribe and share and review and all that good shit. And find us on Twitter if you want to tell us how much you enjoyed it, or you want to tell us that it sucked. That's fine too. And you guys take care. Have a great week. Stay safe. We'll talk at you next week. Bye-bye.